Okay. Howdy, y'all. As always, thanks again for sharing your time with TILBM, the Texas Institute for Leadership and Business Management. My name's Christian Villegas. I'm one of the founders of this nonprofit. We've been operating now for 3 years. And what we try to do is work with different ISDs, different community colleges to give their students access to practical real world tools, as well as coaching that is traditionally learned on the field. That way, you guys don't have to go through that learning curve through internships and jobs, and you can kind of have a tentative idea of what to do and what not to do that you don't normally see in textbooks. So, anyway, howdy to all the students. Thanks for listening. Thank you again for the teachers that are sharing their time, the principals, the colleges that will be passing this along. This is the first slide. So we're going to go through a handful of slides, just kind of talking about the program, explaining it, showing how you guys can get access to its resources. All the resources are online and for free, and then going from there. But of course, as always, I just want to really stress that we appreciate the opportunity to work with the schools, the colleges, the students, the parents, the teachers. It's a big deal. I fully understand the gravity of being given the privilege to work with institutions, and we've tried over the last few years to try to honor that. Our team does consist of school board members, professors, people like myself who've worked in education both at the university level as well as in the medical field. So we have some great folks that have come together to kind of just watch us and coach us. So with that being said, what exactly is the Parchment program? So TILBM is the nonprofit, and the Parchment program is one of the projects that we've been working on for quite a while through TILBM. It's focused predominantly on high schoolers. However, we've started working also with community college students. That way, y'all can get access to resources as well. I myself was a high school student from Birdville ISD. I went to Tarrant County College. And then I transferred to UT Arlington with no student. Basically, everything was covered by scholarships and grants. And then I hopscotched over to A&M for my MBA. And again, that's being covered basically by scholarships. So, that's my story. And something that I picked up on fast was there was a lot of important information that was shared among very competitive fellowship programs, but was not really taught to everyone at these institutions. You had to apply to be in these programs to get access to this intel. And then you had to get, into these unique fellow like internships to further expand on that intel. And it made sense at an academic level of universities, but realistically, it's a huge, it robs a lot of students from the opportunity to learn those concepts that you really should know as soon as you can. So basically, TILBM and the Parchment program was created to be that tool to get that intel out there. And one of our biggest points that we try to stress is that everything we teach, we've either personally done it ourselves, or we have a guest speaker, we have a mentor, someone who comes in who's personally done it. That way, it's not just theory. I know for a lot of the students, you probably get annoyed when you have maybe parents or advisors or friends give you advice. And although it may sound like good advice, they haven't really been backing it with their own evidence, e.g., them doing it themselves. And that makes it very ethereal and not very solid. So we try to recognize that and show you guys by example. So, having kind of explained that a little, the program itself tackles personal finance. It goes into college success strategies. Again, things that you'll usually pick up on in your second year of college, maybe your third year. We try to just give you that intel ASAP. That way, you know what to expect, and you know how to play the game. Because in many ways, it is a video game. It's a game, and there are tricks and tips to overcome it. Additionally, we tackle strategic networking. We're starting to teach project management, has a big element, since that's something you will have to deal with nonetheless when you go into the workforce or as you get into your later years of academics, and then a few other things here and there. So that's the program. It's predominantly online. However, we've started also offering in-person workshops, and we're going to be offering free professional headshots going forward. That way, y'all get access to resources that can help you build your accounts, your digital presence, and make it easier for employers, scholarship grant writers, all that good stuff to see who you are. Because your digital portfolio is super useful. That's often what someone looks at to start judging who they're playing with before they even bring you into the room to interview you. So, I kind of just flag that and summarize it. I'm going to reprise it a little with some specific outlines. Guest speakers. Every school year, TILBM and the Parchment program brings in guest speakers from different backgrounds to discuss relevant topics such as leadership, such as personal finance, strategic networking, college success. And we try to bring in people who, again, have led by example. So last year, for the gentleman who talked about taking initiative, we brought in a multimillionaire who was a very seasoned international engineering salesperson, engineer, then turned salesman. And then he transitioned into running his own tree farm that sells to all of South and East Texas. So, we try to find great people that y'all can get access to. All those things are recorded and put on our YouTube channel as well as the website. So that's really cool. The after school workshops delve a little deeper into those concepts. So, for example, personal finance, the guest speaker might go into certain topics of personal finance. We try to go into all of them within an hour to give you guys a better idea of how you can start that process and what are the steps to take. So those are after school workshops. They'll be available through the calendar, as well as if you do sign up to be a Parchment Fellow, we'll be sending you emails pretty regularly with details on those programs and when they're coming, resources associated with them, all that good stuff. Additionally, we offer career mentorship and coaching. So it's evolved over the years. It's always challenging to find good career mentors or have the students connect with the mentors at the right time, the right moment. So how it works this year and probably going forward is we're going to, again, if you're a Parchment Fellow and you've requested to be a part of the program in a more personal level, we'll workshop with you and connect you, figure out what your goals are, your interests, and then game plan what are soft targets to reach out to strategically so you can start building your network and getting mentorship on your own, as well as identify people within the university space who we can try to connect you with to give you coaching. That way you've gotten an idea for what questions to ask, how to behave around professionals. That way when you transition to talking to people in the actual workforce, you're ready to go. You know what to ask, you know how to present yourself. So it's really cool. It's very useful. It's something I learned in my senior year in college and university through the Bill Archer Fellowship Program. And we're trying to teach it to you guys now. So that way nothing can stop you because mentors, that's what leads to job opportunities. That's what leads to scholarships. I cannot understate that enough. Yeah, so that's a big thing that we tackle. Additionally, again, professional development sessions. We've changed it. Last year, it was only in the spring. Going forward for the foreseeable future, it's anytime. It's basically you reach out to me or you reach out to one of my colleagues in the program or one of our board members or someone within TILBM, and we'll figure out a time to just talk to you to figure out more individually, independent of a workshop, what are your goals, what are your passions, and how can you get the ball rolling now? Because as the market gets more competitive, employers, scholarship providers, institutions are starting to look more towards what have you been doing in your community beyond just your GPA. And professional development is kind of like the training ground or the coaching room to help you figure out projects that you can engage locally that help you build that portfolio. And then that gets to the next thing, which is project building. Yeah, let's say you like playing video games. You know, we have a dean at A&M Commerce. His name's Dr. Hayek. He's transitioned out of being the dean, but he owned multiple businesses and was invited to be very involved with the university because of that. The way he always puts it, how are you creating value for your community? And that's kind of where project building comes in. What TILBM and Parchment tries to do is coach you that value creating doesn't necessarily mean starting a nonprofit or a small business. Again, if you're a big fan of video games, well, value creating could be you organizing a large gathering in Fort Worth maybe partnering with one of the local um, economic development centers that have a good space, a free public space to use, and then just bringing people together to play games, to meet each other in person. That's creating value. That's something you can put on your resume. That's something that allows you to network with great people, leaders in the community, as well as friends who will probably eventually become great people in their community, and it grows your base from there. And then again, it's something you can flag as initiative when you're applying for programs, jobs, and opportunities. So we try to kind of workshop with you. Some students might be more inclined towards actually starting a business, and that's where TILBM will try to be super useful, and at the very least connect you to the right organizations that can further delve into that. And then again, another thing we offer is college advising. It's very straightforward. Where do you want to go? Why do you want to go? Um, Giving you guys some context, I personally don't have any student debt. Um, I've I've never had student debt. There's been several routes that I've taken to kind of get there, and we try to honor that philosophy. So when we're coaching with you, we'll probably stress to you, have you considered community college? Have you considered this and that? What are your options? I know a lot of students nowadays are graduating with an associate's, so we do take into account, and that gets back to professional development. Okay, so you're graduating from high school with an associate's. That means your time to learn and have that learning curve at university is a lot shorter. So who do we got to connect you with at the local level so you can kind of figure out scholarship options immediately versus going to TCC and having time to build those contacts and find scholarships. So that's a lot of stuff we work with. And similar to professional development, it's a matter of you reaching out to us saying, hey, I'd like to set some time up to meet with you, talk to you, and then we kind of brainstorm, figure it out. Um, we do have some great partners with A&M Commerce as well as UNT Dallas. So that could be an avenue for scholarships. But that's really a question of who are we talking to and what are their goals. And then, of course, in-person workshops, we talked about that, professional headshots. And then because of our developing partnerships with institutions like A&M, UNT, as well as TCU, we're starting to get the opportunity to flag for students university level programs and fellowships. That again gives you a chance to network, gives you a chance to boost your resume, and at the very least, see what universities are actually offering. Because the idea of a university is very different often from what you're actually getting. And that's important just to know. So, with that being said, how does Parchment work? It's a very straightforward process. You're through your institution you're currently with, your ISD, such as Birdville or Fort Worth, et cetera. You're getting access to me today. We're talking, we're digging into it. But then all you have to do is go to TILBM's website, apply to be a Parchment Fellow, and then at that point, it'll flag for us that you want to be more involved with the program beyond just getting the opportunity to listen to the guest speakers whenever they pop up. And at that point, I'll then connect with your respective ISD, say, here are the students who've reached out to us, and we'll start working with you. We'll send you updates, we'll send you resources, and we'll try to the best of our abilities, keep in touch with you. Of course, it's a two-way street, and you also have to try to reach out to us because our entire team is volunteer. We all have full-time jobs, and some of us are military, so it's a little different nowadays. Okay, so kind of reprising that real quick. Basically, yeah, through TILBM, your ISDs, are connecting you with guest speakers throughout the fall semester, and then other programming that's available in the spring, such as the free photos, free professional headshots, et cetera, et cetera. That gets back to the email, the application. That way we can kind of workshop with you guys personally. So it's really straightforward. And I'm going to actually show it to all of you in a moment. But yeah, you just submit your application and then complete the requirements. The requirements we have tried to streamline as much as possible. Again, TILBM's constantly learning, constantly evolving. And what we've determined is this is the simplest way to get you guys where you want to be. If you apply for the program, you can automatically put on your resume that you're a Parchment Fellow, which is great because it allows you something else to add to your resume as a high schooler. And that's always useful for internships, for jobs, et cetera. But additionally, by completing the content we have shown here, you can then add you're an alumni. And more importantly, if you complete all this content, odds are you've gotten a chance to really build a relationship with myself or Professor Jacob or whoever else is working with TILBM, and it makes it easier for us to then say, hey, Jim, or hey, Natalia, there's this networking event in Dallas happening, or there's this elected leader who's going to be at this city hall this week. You should really consider attending. So there's a lot of benefits to completing this content. And more importantly, by completing the personal initiative project, you're going to get a lot of skills and experience that even most college students don't get. And you'll be in a safe place to really test out how you build a project through TILBM, because we're here to support that, to coach you, since we've done that a lot, and walk you through it in a way that university professors just don't have time to. And many of them don't have experience doing themselves, unfortunately. So yeah, getting started, you just go to the website right here and you can kind of check it out. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to go to the website and show you guys visually. There will be a PDF available for y'all of these slides that you can get afterwards. But I take it everyone can see this, right? Perfect, perfect. So this is the TILBM website. Again, it's open to the public, super easy to access. This is the main page when you click on the website. All you have to do as a student or a parent or a teacher is go to programs, click on the Parchment Pathway Fellowship Program. It'll take you here. So this is the primary page. This is where it just kind of talks about the program, what it does, the services available, all of that good stuff. And what you're going to do is there's two things. You can either come down here. It's when you click on the program, this is immediately right here, student resources. You can click on that and it takes you to a separate tab that is straightforward. Here you can submit your application. You can go directly into the shared drive and look at all the modules, and you can look at other resources that are degree plans. So I'm gonna, as well as you can see us, you can see our contact information, our cell number, everything you or your parents or your teacher or whoever is with your ISD can use to keep in touch with us. So if you were to click on the application, this is what it's gonna look like. It's very straightforward. Probably will take you 3 to 5 minutes to complete. And what you're going to do is put your full name, an alternative email. So this would be your ISD email or your college email or whatever email is your primary. That way your school is, keeping track of you as well. And then your alternative, just in case for whatever reason we can't connect with you through your primary email. We usually will reach out to you and then CC your alternative, as well as your parents' email, so that they're kept in the loop. They know what's going on. And then something we're starting and going forward with is an instructor. And to clarify, that doesn't mean like your home teacher. What we're hoping is that if you have a specific teacher that is really close with you, that you kind of look up to, or if you're in a university setting, if you have an advisor or professor who you really respect their opinion, put them here. That way we can very briefly just connect with them and say, hey, your student, your teammate, they're in this program. This is what we're going to try to do to be helpful to them throughout the school year. That way they know, and they can also watch your back and be in the loop. And then of course your school, your specific campus. And this is all information that helps us figure out how we can support you, but also for your ISD that you're partnered with, to just, know who their students are and what students are up to. That way there's a lot of transparency. So going down, and I won't take too much time on this, these are the program modules. So that way you guys or your parents or your respective teachers can immediately get access to everything that we talk about. So let's say you, for whatever reason, can't attend a workshop.
Christian,
Oh, yes, sir.
your screen's frozen. We're not seeing anything but the first page, the step-by-step process.
Oh, okay. Let's see if I can fix that. Can you,
You're not full screen anymore.
okay,
It's
let's,
partial screen.
how about now? Now can you see it?
No,
No?
still step by step.
Let's real quick. I'm gonna, all right, how about now? Now can everyone see?
See the page by page student resources. That's what's on the screen right now. The top of the page. Now we're back to the.
Okay, okay, I see. So you're looking, if I'm tracking, you are looking at the Parchment Program Student Resources page, but only
Correct.
the very top of it, correct?
Very top of it. And
Okay.
when you scroll down, we can see the rest of that page. But what did you click on from here?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, but just before I do that, so you can see me scrolling, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna go really slow. That way you guys don't miss anything and kind of restart it. And you've heard me, so I won't really reprise any of that. Basically, this is the main website. Can you all see this?
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. This is the main website. Where you would go is to programs. You would click on the Parchment program. That's the one
Okay.
that's for ISDs and colleges, community colleges.
Right.
And here you would scroll down to the first tab open, which would be Parchment Program Student Resources Portal.
Okay.
You would click that, and then it takes you to everything you would need. So
Okay.
as you scroll down, guys, this is where the application would be. Um, this is where the modules would be, additional resources that are pretty useful, as well as contact information for the primary folks that are running the program on a day-to-day basis. So again, this is all public. It's very easy to find. That way your teachers, your parents, you yourselves can tap into it. And then of course your ISDs that we're partnered with will send this, I suspect, to y'all. But getting back to the application, were y'all able to see that application?
We did not.
Okay, so basically what you guys would do would be click here, and that will take you to this application. So again, I'm not going to really, reprise it too much, but y'all would just fill this information out. It would take 3 to 5 minutes. If you want to go into a little more detail, it might take 6 minutes or 7, but it's very straightforward. And again, it's just a tool for your school as well as TILBM to see how we can be helpful within our abilities and time. But again, one workshop with you, one professional development session with you should be a good amount of time to give you a waypoint. And then for us to start kind of collaborating with your teacher, figure out how we can be supportive. So that's the website. The portal here. So of course, let's say you miss a session or you can't attend a workshop or something happens, you can immediately click on that tab. Again, this is on the website, and it will take you directly to the actual modules for the school year. So these are all the modules. These are everything that TILBM focuses on that we've determined are the most important things. So building a game plan, how do you be professional? What's professional etiquette look like? Strategic networking, building that resume, building that brand, because unfortunately that's how it is. And then going forward, connecting with colleges, building that relationship with them, planning out how you can avoid debt, personal finances, so on. On this tab, you can also get access to the list of requirements that you need. It's a PDF that you can easily download and print out. And it goes through everything. There's also a checklist here. That way y'all can just track, well, what sessions have I been to? Did I send that mentor a thank you card, or that guest speaker a thank you card? What workshop did I attend? And then at the very end, your ISD staff can signature on it. And that's kind of the tool that we use so we can track going forward if we're going to send you a certificate. And at that point, if you ever need a letter of recommendation, if you ever need more specific help, it's easier for us, because you've done all this, so we know you. Um, and then of course the slides for today. That way you can kind of go back and look at them if you need to. So with that being shown, let's get back to the PowerPoint. Professor Dean Gerard, you can see, give me a sec, let's get all the way back to it. All right. So y'all can see this, correct?
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. So we're just about at the finish line. You guys have gotten a chance to see what it looks like. To give you guys some context, TILBM was started, well, the idea of it was started at UT Arlington quite a while back. It was an idea of, teaching different things that were pretty important to society as a whole. It evolved when I worked in Washington, D.C. for a little, and it started to turn more into what can we do to help people in the immediate present for themselves personally. And then, of course, in 2020, it became a reality when we drafted the program overview and started trying to work with local ISDs to do what we can. So, it goes to show that good ideas can take time. So for those students out there that want to start something, don't feel discouraged if it doesn't immediately become perfect, but know that through TILBM, we've been there, we've done the same thing. So we can definitely try to be useful to y'all. This is our team. It includes Chris Dries, Chris West, Roman Vasquez, Professor Jacob Potu, myself. Everyone in this list are contacts that you'll have access to going forward. In previous years, it was predominantly just Jacob and myself, but now it's going to try to be the entire team. And to give you just some context, Chris West, he worked on the Hill. He worked for a governor. He worked for a senator. He owns his own lobbying firm. Chris Dries, he's a realtor. He's very involved in local education. Jacob, he oversees a department at A&M. He's a professor at UTA. He helped me co-found the nonprofit. Roman's currently a teacher for Teach for America at a Native American reservation. Um, so these are good folks, all of them with backgrounds that are pretty rich, and we're trying to grow our nonprofit. We're trying to grow. So these are the folks that, within reason, we can easily connect you with. Some local, some currently not in the country or in the state. So it's a good deal. With that being said, our goal is to be supportive. We fully acknowledge that as a nonprofit that's volunteer run, we have some rough edges that we're trying to polish, but we're getting there. And we just want to stress to you guys that this is a community effort. We're here to be as useful as we can. We've done a lot of those hurdles, so we'll give you counsel that's hopefully pretty legitimate. But through that application, it's a way for us to get you involved with your parents, or if you prefer, keep you involved through your teacher. That way, you have a community to watch your back. It really is a process, and we acknowledge that. So, with that being said, I'm going to end the recording, get that process and shared with the other ISDs and colleges and partners. And if you guys have any questions, I will definitely answer them.